Political editor Dennis Welch is here tonight. It does beg the question, what does the declaration do for us now, this late in the summer?
You know, I got a chance to ask the governor that, but first I want to put some of all this in context right now, where we're at with the heat. This week we are expected to see temperatures in the valley exceed 110 degrees at least 2 or 3 more times. But historically speaking, we are nearing the end of the extreme temperatures. This weekend, for example, the highs in the valley could only be under 100 degrees. Now, after speaking at an event for a new facility for foster children, the governor took some questions about her latest executive order. Since declaring an emergency 4 days ago, 2 new cooling stations have been opened near the Capitol. That will provide some relief from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. After being asked if she had waited too long to take action, Hobbs said it was less about dealing with the current situation and more about looking to the future and helping communities recoup some of the past costs of dealing with the recent heat wave, again, that saw high temperatures above 110 degrees for 31 straight days.
And as with any emergency, that is retroactive, and there are specific criteria that allow us to declare or not, which is why it only covers those three counties. In terms of the executive order, we're looking forward, and we have been working closely with organizations, nonprofits, government entities that are addressing heat issues, and the state needs to be a better partner, and this executive order will help us going forward be a better partner, plan more comprehensively for the next season.
Now, tomorrow we should get the latest updated numbers on heat-related deaths from Maricopa County. Last week, they revealed that we are on track to break last year's record of 424 heat-related deaths. Now, the county had brought in coolers to add extra space for their morgue that was at capacity to deal with this heat, but I was told this afternoon by county officials that they expect to remove the coolers shortly. Guys, back to you.